During this time of distance and virtual learning, there are understandably raising concerns about our youth's graduation rate within Columbus City schools. Today on City Chat. From Impact Columbus, Lily and Naeem are both joining us today to talk about their partnership with Columbus City Schools and a special program to offer better support for our youth and community. Naeem and Lily, thank you so much for joining us on Zoom and coming to talk to us about this new program that is going to benefit our youth and community. The graduation rate is just declining. What would you guys say, to a young person or to a parent who's concerned about their child about this graduation rate?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me. I would tell the parents and the child that I know it's a difficult time and everyone is struggling, whether it's just, in high school or the parents themselves, or even us doing this, conducting these meetings, everyone's had to adjust. So you're not alone in struggling. And just because you're struggling now, it doesn't mean that that's a permanent struggle that you're going to have to endure. It's temporary. There are a lot of good ideas, a lot of good programmings that are popping up that are designed to help you. And so the one thing that I would say to them is patience first. And I know that's a very difficult thing and it's easier said than done, but patience and understanding that it's a process and that everyone is ultimately going through the same thing and that there are dedicated individuals and organizations here who are here to help in any way that we can, whether it's getting your grades up, or whether it's helping you in personal development, leadership qualities, finding you employment opportunities, anything. There's a lot of dedicated people and organizations who are committed to doing this work. And so we want to meet you where you are and help you prosper in any way that you possibly can. So
yeah, that's great. It is so crazy this past year, just everything going virtual. Even, we're all graduated from high school and stuff, but even just, like having this Zoom meeting, for instance, it's just so different than in person. And you really wouldn't think, that it has that much of an effect on someone, but, it clearly does. And numbers are proving that too. Lily, this question is for you. What is the eligibility of Impact's Achieve More and Prosper program?
Yes, so young adults who are 16 to 24 years old living in Franklin County are eligible if they are in high school or haven't received their high school diploma or are trying to get their GED. If they are pregnant or parenting, learning English as a second language, homeless or runaway, or even if they've been involved in the foster care system or has been involved with the criminal justice system. So there is a wide variety of ways that you can be eligible for our program. And we really work on a case-by-case basis to speak with each young adult to see what their situation is and to talk about how our AMP program can help them achieve their goals.
I know that there's a partnership between Columbus City Schools and Impact. Did this program come about like in the midst of the pandemic, or was it already established before then?
So this was established beforehand, but with the pandemic, it just really exaggerated and emphasized the problems that we were already facing in the community. So it's just really showing us how important this program is, especially during a pandemic, to try to catch some of these young adults that may be struggling in the community. And we want to help lift them up however we can.
Can you share some of the program's success stories and, if you could share some of those with us?
Yeah, so this program is really great. We celebrate all of our young adults. If it's a small accomplishment, whether it's just attendance, showing up is really important. But we have had some amazing success stories. In the past month, we've already gained, 5 of our young adults have gained employment. During a pandemic, that's incredible. The other day, we were actually able to help a homeless couple find some shelter. And with this weather that's happening, I can't imagine having to live in your vehicle right now with all of this snow and all of this cold. So we were able to work with our emergency assistance department to find them some shelter. And we're working to get them enrolled so that we can help them find a path to find a job, get an apartment. And it's all about self-sufficiency and a holistic approach to achieving your goals.
That's so cool. That's really great. You mentioned AMP. You were talking about how the main mission is self-sufficiency. Can you tell us what that really means and what the coaches are trying to implement there?
Yeah, so the goal and the essence of this program is to get the young adults to a place of self sufficiency. So, what does that mean? They're trying to empower and support the young adults to get them to a point where they are confident and they know their worth and they have the resources that they need to stand on their own 2 feet. Having a job isn't enough. It's understanding the value of themselves and knowing the value of their future so that they can see a dream and then strive toward that dream. So it's really about empowering and getting to a point where they are confident and proud of themselves so that they can be self-sufficient in the future.
Naeem, could you tell us a little bit about the hours of your operation and the activities that the youth can participate in?
Okay, so as of right now for our LEC, the hours of operation are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Generally, we end a little bit earlier. And going forward, we will be opening up on Monday and Fridays with a focus on our seniors, specifically on the south side of Columbus. That's where we're seeing a lot of need, and we want to make sure we're supporting this community that we've recently moved into as much as we can. So some of the activities outside of just the academic assistance, we do a lot in terms of personal development. That's kind of the essence of what I like to do is because as Lily mentioned, employment and a place to live, yeah, they're fundamental and you need these things, but there's a lot of intangibles that also need to be worked on. The reality is a lot of these communities have been underserved for a long time. They've been underrepresented, and they're also dealing with the pandemic has really exacerbated some of the issues there, whether it's a lack of economic opportunity, maybe a distrust in whether it's police or just community in general. So what we try to do, at least what I try to take the approach of, is I want to help you build up your self-efficacy. I want to get you to understand your own semblance of value, so then that way you value others and the community around you. So we do a lot in terms of personal development, which we do our Deep Speaks, which is really just giving the kids a platform, or the young people, giving the young people a platform to be able to voice their concerns, things that they're seeing, or just honestly what they're feeling, or to be able to engage in conversations that they may not feel comfortable engaging with adults. So sometimes that may mean having a conversation about gender roles. It may mean a conversation about politics. It may mean a conversation about relationship building. It's just kind of whatever they want to talk about, we do that. We also incorporate, we watch like movies and we listen to music, and we do analysis based on those things as well. Again, the whole idea is breaking down any barriers that do exist. That's actually one of the things that we do. I helped develop an asset quiz. It's just a means of being able to determine the barriers that exist. It's like an assessment tool. So based on how a young person may score on that, I can tell them right away, like, okay, so you need support. Maybe it's familial support. Maybe it's academic support. Maybe it's about just, again, understanding who you are relative to the world around you. So those are some of the activities. We'd like to build it out a little bit more because once the COVID hopefully ends and kids go back into school, well, we still want to be able to create a space for them to come and to be comfortable and to enjoy themselves. So whether that's including basketball or different sports, we have people come in who want to be working on coding. We have people who come in and they want to talk to the kids about entrepreneurship, just different activities like that, exposing them to the vastness of the work that exists. So
that's so cool. Will you guys both be my life coaches?
So I'm working on my own right now. So
yeah, we're all work in progress.
That's really cool. So AMP, where are you guys housed? Like, where's the building?
Yeah, so we are at Impact Community Action. We're at 711 Southwood Avenue. And we are in the South Side. We want to be a part of the community that we're serving. So we recently moved to this new building, and it's a huge space where we are able to have a learning extension center, and where we have a huge cafeteria where we can social distance, and we're able to practice safe COVID protocols. And still meet in person so that there is some sort of social aspect to the Learning Extension Center, which is really nice for the young adults.
Is there, I don't know if you guys covered this, is this a free program to enter?
This is a free program, and the Learning Extension Center and the AMP program are interconnected. So the participants in the AMP program can come to the LEC, and we can they can speak with their coaches during this time as well, and we can help them with goal planning or budgeting or anything like that during their time in the LEC. And we also have tutors that come in, so we can help them toward any goal that they have while they're here spending their time at the LEC.
I'm interested in hearing why this is so important to you and why you do what you do.
Wow. Okay, well, I think this is important to me because I grew up, my parents were immigrants in America, and we really struggled integrating into the community because they didn't speak English. So I'm trying to be a role model that I wanted when I was younger. So I didn't have a lot of guidance. So I'm hoping to guide the youth and hopefully, make the world a little brighter. And that's like every day I'm trying to help someone like go all in so that maybe life could be a little easier for them.
That's great, Lily. Thank you. Naeem?
Like, I don't look at this as a job. I look at it more as like a calling, because again, I sat on that side of the table. I was there. I know what that feels like to not have anything, to struggle, to not feel supported, to even though you have a family around, you're struggling to pay your bills. And I know what it feels like to just that feeling of despair. And then also combined with being a young person and having different ideas and feeling like adults didn't ever really listen to me, or they felt like they were talking at me. So I understand what that feels like. And I know how that can come off as a kid. And I know the long lasting effects that has on a young person. So for me, why I do this and why I get up every day is because I understand that our young people are the future of everything. The only way our society is going to progress is with these young people. And I'm personally just sick and tired of seeing certain groups of young people being left behind. And so for me, it's a passion that just because you come from a certain area, just because you look a certain type of way, just because you may speak a certain type of way, that doesn't mean that you're any less valuable than anybody else in this world. Just as the same vein that you should treat the CEO the same way you would treat the janitor. Both of them have value, and immense value. And so my passion is getting the kids to realize that they have this value. And again, to just being that guide, so to speak, to help them kind of maneuver through this life. Because again, you're going to run into some situations and circumstances that if you don't have the proper skill set, you're just going to fall victim to the traps. But if you have a baseline that's established, if your philosophy and your process is solid, then you can always bounce back. But a lot of that, again, is meeting them where they are, and again, creating this environment for them. And that's, I think, the central focus of everything I do is it's about the youth, and it's youth driven. So I may sit here and tell you about our program, but if you were to ever come in and ask me like, hey, Naeem, how's the program going? I'd say, talk to our young people, because they're going to be the ones to tell you. It's their voice that matters ultimately at the end of this. And so I just want to try to be a conduit for them to be able to speak how they feel. So that's my passion.
I'm Josie Smith. Thanks for watching City Chat on CTV.